In 1953, this city wasn't just successful, it was an industrial powerhouse. Its factories built the machinery that built America. Hollywood filmed here. The world bought its products. And then, it all vanished. This is the story of how Mansfield, Ohio, went from being the fun center of Ohio and a manufacturing titan to a Rust Belt cautionary tale. And it all started with one fatal assumption, that the good times would never end. The story begins in the 1800s with geography and grit. Positioned perfectly between Cleveland and Columbus, Mansfield was a railroad and highway nexus. Its solution was deceptively simple: make what America needs. It shouldn't have been a manufacturing epicenter, but it was. By the early 20th century, they achieved what most cities dream of: a diverse industrial base with giants like Westinghouse, Tappan, and Ohio Brass. This wasn't just growth. It was proof they'd found a crack in the economic universe. 3 things made Mansfield unstoppable. First, strategic infrastructure. Rails and roads converged here. Second, a skilled workforce, generations honed in precision metalwork. Third, and most important, the post-war boom. They weren't just selling products, they were selling the American dream itself. Refrigerators, electrical components, steel. By 1950, they were adding jobs and pride by the thousands. The prosperity became a self-fulfilling prophecy. At its peak in the mid-20th century, Mansfield's industrial output was valued in the billions. It was home to over 40 major manufacturers. The Shawshank Redemption would later film there, using the formidable Ohio State Reformatory as a metaphor for confinement. Ironic for a city about to be trapped by its own past. But here's what nobody saw coming. The very thing that made it successful, specialized, heavy industry, was about to become its fatal flaw. Beneath the glossy surface of full employment, the economic model was fragile. For every refrigerator sold, they became more dependent on a system soon to be obsolete. Their key metric, steady, unionized factory jobs, was actually a vulnerability to global competition. When economists in the 1970s finally asked, "How do you plan to adapt to a globalized market?" the implicit response from leadership was, "We've always done it this way." That mindset was the beginning of the end. Instead of diversifying the economic base, they doubled down on luring more manufacturing with tax breaks. They watched as competitors in the Sun Belt and overseas solve the cost problem with cheaper labor and newer technology. The market was shifting from brawn to brains, from metal to microchips, but Mansfield was too busy celebrating its heritage to notice the future passing it by. In the 1980s, the first domino fell. Westinghouse closes. Then GM cut shifts. Then Tappan moves south. The population dropped 20% in 2 decades. Young talent fled. Stores shuttered. The community realized the foundation had rusted through. What took 100 years to build unraveled in 20. Today, Mansfield exists as a city of remnants and resilience. The massive factory shells were sold for pennies on the dollar or demolished. The legacy is now a case study in deindustrialization. But the real tragedy isn't the loss of money. It is the loss of identity and purpose for a generation. The Fun Center now grappled with a profound question. What are we now? Lesson 1. No single industry is a permanent identity. Diversification isn't a strategy, it's survival. Lesson 2. Infrastructure of the mind, education, adaptability, matters more than physical infrastructure in the long run. Lesson 3. The most important. Community is more durable than commerce. The places that survive are those who can separate their pride from their product. Mansfield didn't fail because it stopped working hard. It failed because it confused a moment in economic history with a permanent right. In the end, Mansfield serves as a brutal reminder that in the life of a city, there are no permanent victories, only constant adaptations. The global economy always corrects. Reality always wins. And the difference between a lasting community and a forgotten footnote isn't just what you build. It's your courage to build something new when the old world dies.